Hello.
Oh, how are you?
Hey, Patia. Hey there. Good to see you, girl.
I know. It's been a while.
It's been a while now, but Rika and I missed you during the
I
last
missed you guys
show.
too. I missed you guys too. But I
Yeah,
saw that you had a night show.
we
And
had
so
a good
no, I'm
show.
here and Barika's not.
I know. I know. We had Danny filled in for for,
Mhm.
for you the last show. And yeah, so we're holding down the fort
Yes,
for
we
Rika.
are.
It's interesting when because we know Barika's with doing a family event
Mhm.
tonight because we love
Mhm.
to clone each of us so that we can be on the show and
Right.
with our family. We know that's not possible, and we know what takes priority, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Family is first for sure. So, hello everyone. Thanks so much for being here. Brand Rewind Live. I'm Denise Kagler, and my company is MDK Brand Management, and I'm coming to you from a relatively warm, kind of Boston, Massachusetts.
Absolutely. And I'm Patia Abdurazak, and my company is the Stylista Group. And similar to you, we're having a really warm day in Harlem. So I
Yeah,
don't know what this means, but I'm not going to complain. No complaints here.
I'm not complaining either, but we know it's not going to last because they're
Yeah.
already talking about 40s coming
Yeah.
up. So
Yeah.
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 So enjoy it while we can, because I don't know if you read the Farmer's Almanac. I don't read it, but I hear the summary reports that come out on the
Mhm.
news, and they are predicting the almanac. And I think there are a few of them, two or three of them, something. There are three different predictors of the winter across
Okay.
the country, and the prediction for the Northeast for this winter is more snow than usual and colder temperatures than usual. I
But
can't
you know what?
imagine.
I feel like we've been having the last 2 years haven't been that bad, so we're kind of due for that.
I
I've been
know.
mentally preparing myself. I'm like, you know what? I don't think we're gonna have a third year of mild weather. So
I know. And I think it's been long, and I think it's been longer than that. I can't remember the last time we got like 2 feet or 3 feet
yeah,
of snow, probably in the teens. In the
and yeah,
teens.
I agree. I agree. It's been a while, so we're overdue.
We are overdue. So I'm still not gonna like it though, but
Same.
we, we are overdue. But there are people who love snow. I am not
Yeah.
one of them. I'm not one of them. So what I didn't do the last show is talk about what the day is known for. So I want to talk about what today is known for. Today is November 16th. There are a few things that are recognized today, and we always joke, Patia, that there's something for any kind of
Every single
whatever
day.
every day. So today, which I thought was is kind of interesting, I think is kind of interesting. Today is International Day of Tolerance.
Mm,
Isn't that interesting?
that's a
International
good
Day
one.
of Tolerance. Huh.
Yeah.
So, let people have their opinions, say what they want, not do what they want, but tolerate them. Let them
Hmm.
be who they want to be.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Tolerate them. And there's another recognition that I love too. Today is National Black Marketers Day.
Oh, really? Okay.
Today is
I
National Black.
didn't know that. I need to make a note of that for for next year so I can do some fun stuff. I had no idea that
Yep.
existed.
It's a celebration of Black excellence.
Okay.
I know. Who knew?
Who
Right?
knew?
Who knew? We didn't know. So I love looking and seeing, what the days are. Usually there are probably like 5 or 6 of them. Some of them I have no idea what they
Some of
are.
them are crazy. Sometimes I have to chuckle to myself, like, what? Do you know what the process is for like setting up a national day? Like, I've
You
always
can
wondered, like,
put
how do you
you
even do
put
this?
you send something in. Just
Just send it in, right? I'm gonna start making up my own days because it seems like that's what people do, and then all of a sudden it's like,
just
you
send it in.
know,
Let's find out who we sent it to. And let's just make it up.
right, right,
But
right.
chances are it already exists. We just didn't know about it.
We just didn't know. I'm sure you're right. I'm sure you're
Whatever
right.
you come up with, it's already there. It's already there. So speaking of coming up with something, what you got? Let's kick us off with the dishing on brands. What brand you got?
Dishing on brands. So, as we all know, brand collabs are a great way for brands to reinvent themselves or put themselves in front of different target audiences. And I found one that's kind of cute and I think unexpected. So, McDonald's is partnering with Crocs on a limited edition line of shoes and socks. And as you can see, obviously, this is targeting children because I'm not sure. Well, I don't know. Maybe some adults may do this, but for me, no, thank you. And so this is a
Me
first
either.
collaboration
Me
for the
either.
two
Me
brands.
either. Me either.
Yeah, we're not doing this.
Oh, no.
First collaboration for both brands, and this was actually announced this week, and the collection launches next Tuesday. For you parents in the audience, if you have kids that love Crocs, on the 21st, you can get these one of these or maybe all of them if your kids are really into this line of Crocs and socks. And so we have the Grimace and Crocs cozy sandal. That's the first one you're seeing there. The Birdie and Crocs classic clog, the Hamburger and Crocs classic clog, and the McDonald's and Crocs classic clog, which will have the signature hamburger and arch, golden arch, as the kind of like the new thing with Crocs is to have these little adornments attached to the Crocs.
Mhm.
And they will run for about $70 to $75 a pair, and the matching socks will be about $20 each. So
I
I'm
would
really
love to, but I would love to know what their forecast is for sales.
right. Same. And I'm going to start paying attention because I
Yeah.
know that Crocs have become really popular. So I'm really interested to see starting next week what's going to be happening. Like, are people actually going to bite? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in social media. So it's kind of like a fun story, but I don't know, hopefully they are successful. I think they will be because both brands appeal to children. So this may be a match made in heaven for them.
Yeah, yeah. And hats off, I'm not a Crocs person personally. They're not my favorite
Hmm.
shoes, but hats off to McDonald's for thinking outside the box, the
Absolutely.
Crocs box,
Right.
and being innovative. Because my guess is, I'm guessing that kids will love it, mostly
Yeah.
because of the things that are going to be hanging off the
Exactly.
collectible.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. And it's very different for them because we're used to the Happy Meals and that sort of thing. But this is like completely outside of what they've been doing so far, which is great.
yeah,
Let's see what happens.
yeah. Let's see what happens. All right.
Okay. All right. So, I guess another story that I found, and this is very futuristic. I went to my local Whole Foods in Harlem last week, and much to my surprise and a little bit of horror, when I was about to check out, the girl was, the cashier, she was like, do you want to try out our palm scanner thing to pay? And I was like, lady, what are you talking about? So actually, this is not new. Amazon/Whole Foods has been rolling out these palm scanner things since July. That's when the announcement was made. And of course, New York is one of the test markets. And so Jetsons, you guys remember the Jetsons? Here we are, real life Jetsons. What you need to do is that it's a biometric scanner. So you need to somehow connect your palm to your Amazon account or something like this. I'm trying not to go too far down this rabbit hole because it's like creeping me out. And so if you do decide to do this, when you go to Whole Foods, you can actually pay for your groceries by scanning your palm. I don't know. Like, I'm really into technology, but even for me, this is like a little bit much to me. It's like, how do you feel about this? I don't know.
Well, I don't know how people could steal. I wonder how people could steal it or hack into it because, did you hear, well, maybe not in New York, but didn't hear about it in New York, but there were I think two or three Market Basket stores in
Mm,
Massachusetts. I think they were both in Massachusetts, where these people, horrible people, because I think they're horrible people, put
yeah.
those skimming devices on the
Oh,
checkout credit card
okay.
machine, and the employees happened to be walking around the store, and they looked and they saw this very odd contraption
Hmm.
stuck on the front, I guess, of the card reader, your credit card reader.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
closer inspection, they found that they had these skimming devices. So people who went through those lines and swiped their credit card could very easily have their accounts hacked and then drained of all the money. And so,
Hmm.
so what that store did, I'm glad they did it, they called around to other Market Basket stores and gave them a heads up, like, check all your machines. It turns out that there were other skimming devices, a skim, whatever you
Wow.
call it, attached to other checkout, registered
Hmm.
credit card readers. That is so infuriating that
Yes.
people do that. I
Yeah.
mean, come on, really?
I agree. And so the first thing I thought, maybe this is actually more secure because everybody has their own, it's like a fingerprint, like, right? So, so my crazy mind automatically went to people cutting people's hands off and like using I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny. I'm like,
Right.
I see how this can become really dark really quickly. Like,
That's
the
dark.
I
That's
mean,
dark.
you see those things in spy movies, right? Where they like, whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I'm not ready for this yet. I don't know.
You
Maybe it'll become the norm. Like in 5 years, everybody will be scanning their
probably,
whatever, and
probably.
it's normal. But I'm just not ready for it yet. So
Well, not only will they be doing it in 5 years, they would think, "How did they buy groceries before? How could they possibly have bought groceries before they put their palm?" Because isn't that what we think about?
that's
Cell phones and
everything,
microwaves,
everything,
cars, everything.
everything.
How do
Yes.
people get
So
out of bed and do anything during the day?
exactly. So it'll probably become the norm. I'm just not ready yet.
Yeah, but the whole thing with cutting off the hands, I'm a horror movie fanatic, that I don't even see happening, and I see all kinds of dark stuff happening. I don't. That's funny.
Oh
Are
my
you
god,
do you like horror movies? But you
I
don't
do
even know
like
that.
horror
Okay,
movies. Yep.
that's
Hmm.
why your brain went there. That's why your brain went there. So, that was great. No, those are 2 great stories, and, I had not heard of either one of them, so very cool.
Hmm.
So, this story, maybe, some of you have heard, which is kinda cool. This is a story about, the first ever Beyonce reporter. Now, perhaps you have heard about this story. Now, a few weeks ago, the news announced the first ever Taylor Swift reporter. So, a reporter who is their only beat is covering that celebrity. So, Taylor Swift's reporter was announced, I think, 2 weeks ago. A couple days ago, they announced this reporter for Beyonce. Her name is Cache McClay. What a cool name. Cache McClay. So this is her, and she introduced herself in a very cool video. So I'm going to try to play this video. I'm not usually the one who does this. I'm going to play this video, but it's very cool. So check it out. Here you go. Oh, I got to take this down. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to put you back in. It's only a 30-second video, so let's play that.
Please do not be alarmed.
For News Vision, I am Cache McClay.
As the School of Communications celebrates 45 years, the university
Once again places Howard in a position to be a part of making history.
We're here outside the Country Music Hall of Fame, place that I'm in now, a predominantly white, wealthy suburb.
DMZ Podcast, Harvey Levin here.
Cache McClay there. They were able to make from a $55 million.
All of my experiences have led me to be exactly who I am today. And I'm so grateful to introduce myself as
Cache Janae McClay, your first one and only Beyonce reporter.
That is amazing. So cool. Lucky her.
I mean, it is so cool. Lucky her. Can you imagine having that beat?
I know.
I mean, that just seems like
So fabulous.
such a cool story. And I love that her background. So it isn't like there was a contest and somebody got the job for being a bee. Is it Beehive? Is it Beehive?
There's the Beehive. Yeah, the Beehive. That's the Beehive, whatever they call it. Yeah.
Beehive. You got the Swifties and the Beehive, right? So you're not just that, and you sort of, answered a few questions that got hired. Not that they would do that, but it was great to see that she had
Working.
she'd been working. She's paid her dues. She's worked in the field for a bit of time, including some of those you saw Harvey Levin.
Yes.
I think from what is
TMZ.
TMZ. So she clearly has paid her dues and has done her work. And what just a cool.
That is amazing.
Job. Yeah, anybody who's a Beyonce fan would be just drooling over the opportunity to do that. I mean, I imagine she's going to be going to all the shows now. I guess she'll get backstage access.
Access for sure. Yes, for sure.
Interviews, one-on-one interviews, perhaps. But I love that video that she's out there with her own style. That's her brand. That's her brand.
Such an amazing opportunity.
Yeah. So hats off to the coolest name on the planet, Cache. Is it Janae McClay? Janelle McClay? Cache McClay.
Yeah.
Very cool. So congratulations to her for sure. What a brand, covering a very strong brand, obviously, in Beyonce.
Good
All right. All right. So what else is going on?
Yeah, on the topic of really strong brands, this is actually something that I really got into over the summer. Essence magazine turned 50 this year. And what happened is that to celebrate the 50 years, they released a 5-part docu-series called A Time of Essence. And each of the segments focused on a specific decade, starting in the 70s when Essence was born. So, the genesis of Essence, four Black men started Essence, which I had no idea that that's how it started. I just automatically assumed it was women, but it actually wasn't women. It were 4 men. And the reason why is because, they felt like there was this void in the market. A lot of great brands are started because there's a void in the market and they wanted to fill it. So the 70s was all about the Essence being born. The 80s, Black women were thriving a lot, coming into their own, exploring different professions. However, there was kind of this welfare queen stereotype that was happening. And so Essence took on the charge of trying to counteract that and saying, no, yes, those people do exist, but there are also a lot of Black women doing amazing things. The 90s is where it really blew up. The subscription level was like in the millions. The 2000s is when things started to take a turn for the not so great because it was bought by Time Inc. And that's when, a lot of the storylines and the powerful stories kind of petered out. And then the 2010s onwards decline, and then again coming back when it was once again bought by a Black owned brand. Sundial Brands actually owns Essence again, and it's a Black owned publication once more. And they're really trying hard to revitalize the brand, to cover stories that are current. And so if you guys haven't seen it, you can still see it on OWN. I learned a lot of things about the brand that I had, nothing. I didn't know anything about. So, for example, they couldn't afford to pay a lot of their staff in the beginning. So those initial employees were paid with stock options. And so when it was sold to Time Inc., those people became really wealthy, which is kind of cool. And there was also some controversy when it was sold because, they're like, oh, you're selling out. But that was actually one of the good things that happened because it was bought back to preserve the brand.
Yes.
Because they were in financial trouble. So if they didn't sell, there would probably be no Essence today. So I just, it's just really it's a really powerful brand still. And when you think of longevity, 50 years, especially for publications, so many publications have gone out of business. For them to still be around and evolving, it's just an amazing story.
Yeah. It is, because you see a lot of the publications go under because they don't keep up with the technology, keep up with trends, and to see that they have been able to do both is amazing.
And weather the storms. I mean, a lot of their contemporaries no longer exist, right? Which is sad.
Yes.
And so it was just great. If you guys are interested, check it out. I know.
I remember you texted Barika and me and said, you got to check this out. This is such a great show. So that's great. And kudos and congrats to the team at Essence for, as you say, surviving and thriving.
Right. Yes.
Through a lot of tough times, because 50 years, you think about what's happened over the last 50 years. Wow.
A lot.
Yeah.
For sure.
So just in the last, day, there have been so many, even just I should say today, there have been just so many stories in the news, and you and I were talking about it earlier. What is going on? So I'm just gonna riff off a few stories that have been in the headlines, and we will go down deep on a couple of them. But so just right before we went live, maybe an hour before, we saw that P. Diddy charged with sexual assault on someone who he apparently had a relationship with for quite some time. We saw earlier this afternoon that Representative George Santos there in New York, the representative from New York, who we don't even know whether that's his name.
He is special, yes.
He's going to be he's not going to run for re-election. He's
right.
I was tripping over those words because who knows? He says he's not. Who knows, actually? But the House released a scathing report about him today, I guess, and an investigative report, and they found that allegedly that he used campaign funds for things like Botox treatment, to pay his rent, to travel to, I want to say Vegas, maybe some vacations, and other things that he used. Apparently, he used campaign funds for. he called it a smear campaign. It's like, what? You're the one who started it.
You're the one who, he's delusional. Mhm.
He's New York. So what are they saying in New York about him?
I am not sure. I haven't. I'm sure I'll hear a lot more tomorrow. I think everybody's just kind of like digesting the new information and shaking their heads and saying, "Well, yeah, I mean, it's about time that he should be removed from everything that he's been doing because it's ridiculous."
Yeah,
And he just doesn't stop. It's like ongoing. It's like every 5 minutes, it's something else.
And you think about his brand. So if he doesn't run for reelection, and he takes his brand out, out of DC and back to New York. What will his
I
brand?
don't know. I have no idea. I mean,
Will he
who in
try to do
their
a
right
rewind?
mind? Yeah, who in their right mind will believe anything that he says for quite some time?
So we're both brand strategists. We understand what it takes to rebrand. What if you were to pick up the phone and ask you what he should do to rewind his brand, what would you tell him?
I think he needs to go see a psychologist, psychiatrist. There's something clearly not okay with him. The things that he does, it's clear that this person has some deep-seated issues. So I think he should fall away from the public eye, because one thing about people, I've seen this happen to other people who have gotten themselves into various situations. People also have a short memory. But you got to go away a little bit first, right?
Yeah,
So I think you should take some time off, do some introspection, some reflection, hopefully get to a better place, maybe come back and say, these are the lessons that I've learned, right? That's what people generally do. These are the lessons that I've learned. I'm a better person now. I'm not going to do these things. And then, move forward, showing real change. Like, that's the only way that he could reinvent himself. But he couldn't possibly, keep going down the same path that he's been going down. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
It does, and I agree with you about stepping away from the spotlight. He should go dark for a little while, and come out a reborn man.
Exactly.
Yeah, and to your point, if he goes and sees someone, he should decide, what does he want his brand to stand for?
Right? Like,
what does he want his brand to be? Yeah,
right.
It can't be that he does. He can't. I can't imagine that he'd want to maintain the same brand he has right now, because it's not very good.
The thing with people like that is that you often wonder if they realize that what they're doing is not okay. So that's the first thing, right? Does he even know that, the path he's headed down is not a good one? Because unless he comes to that realization, then he will never change. So that's probably the first step.
Yeah, and he needs to surround himself with people who are going to tell him what he needs to hear, not what he wants to hear. People who are straight and honest with him, and put that mirror, make him look in the mirror and say, okay, what are you seeing?
Right.
He needs to surround himself with the people who are going to help him.
Agreed. Absolutely.
That's a head scratcher for sure, how he got into all this. Another head scratcher. The Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith, we haven't talked about that yet with the book that Jada Pinkett Smith dropped a few weeks ago. Forget the name of it. We talked about it. What was it? I can't remember.
I listened to the book and I still can't remember the name. I don't know why. Worthy.
It's one word. It's like one word.
Something like worthy.
Worthy.
I think it's worthy.
Yeah. So, she was on the press tour a few weeks ago. Today, she was on CBS Mornings. I had a client session, so I didn't watch it. But, you think about brands. So this show's all about brands and branding and rebranding.
It is worthy.
Yeah, worthy. Okay. And so I wonder what that title is all about, actually. I haven't read the book. So she may be in the beginning. She probably has a description of what that title represents.
So I listened to the audiobook. Okay. I was doing an engagement where I had to travel outside of the city, and I decided, this is going to be my traveling material. And so the whole title, Worthy, is that she's pretty much saying her entire life, because of the trauma that she went through as a child, her mom had her issues and whatever, that whenever good things have happened to her, she's never felt worthy of them. And so she's in this cycle of like always creating confusion, which by the way, she still is. But anyway, creating confusion. You know how some people are like comfortable in trauma because that's all they know?
Yes.
And so they don't believe it when good things happen. Yes. And so this book is supposed to be her actually realizing that she deserves good things, and she shouldn't always, but honestly, I don't know if that's really happening in real life, because I feel like she continues to create situations that are contemptuous and drama filled. And maybe it's just a process that she needs to go through. But the book was interesting to listen to for sure. She's
Hmm.
definitely, her brand is definitely an interesting one. Like, I don't want to give away too much if people are interested in reading or listening to the book, but she's a very complex, I think, um, I don't know, very complex person. It's very interesting.
Complex brand.
Yeah, very complex brand.
I've
Lot of
only, yeah,
contradictions and yeah.
yeah. And didn't really meet her. I was sort of in the same few feet from her, and she seemed nice, but that's,
Mm-hmm.
so you never know. Because this whole thing with the book and all the things that she dropped in that book, and you wonder how it affects her relationship
Her
with
family, her husband,
kids. There were a lot of bombshells in that book, huh? You
yeah,
heard?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I know. No, it's to be continued. So I want to end on this story. A really cool story. It was on the news tonight, and it was a woman who was running in the New York Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
She was very close to beating her own record. So she really wanted to beat her own record. It was what was driving her, powering her through this race, through the course. And she looked over and she saw this little teeny kitten, this white,
Oh,
black, beautiful, tiny kitten. She stopped because the kitten, I guess, maybe was going to get trampled, I imagine, from all the
right,
running.
right.
She stopped, went over, picked up the kitten. Now she's off. Now she's not about to break her own record.
Mm-hmm.
And she continues to run, I think maybe about a mile, I'm not sure, but a little while. And then she sees on the sidelines these two women, they notice the runner run with the kitten. They go, oh. So she saw their really cute response. So she runs over and she gives a kitten to these two women who are on the sidelines. And then she finishes the race. So they did an interview with the two women, and they said they just had to take that kitten. And then one of the women adopted the kitten, and she
Oh,
named the kitten Casper.
oh,
Oh, because it was white with two little black little spots
oh.
on his
That's
head.
adorable. That's a feel good story.
A feel good story. So I wanted to end on that feel
Of
good.
course.
And
Of
talk
course.
about a brand and to talk about branding. She was actually running to raise money for a pet charity. Some kind
Oh,
of
wow. So that is definitely on brand for her.
some brand for her. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So I just thought that was the cutest little
that's
story.
amazing. That is amazing. Good stuff.
I
Okay,
know. So
look at us. We're almost out of time. The time goes so quickly.
it flies by. It flies by. So speaking of flying by, we got another holiday season upon us.
Mm-hmm.
Holiday season of 2023. So we have Thanksgiving is a week from tonight.
I'm so unprepared. I feel like this year just flew. Like once the summer came, it's like, woo.
It did. And I think the older you get, the more quickly time
The
flies.
time goes for sure.
It's true. It's true. So for everyone, yes, please definitely have a safe Turkey Day. I will be out of town with my kids, but still, we're gonna have I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward
Nice,
to
nice,
Turkey
nice.
Day.
So much to be thankful for, right? We're still here. A lot of
We are.
and for sure, reflecting on this time of year definitely
Mm.
makes sense.
Yay.
Okay.
So yeah, so we are done for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this edition of Brand Rewind Live.
Yes. And if you are not a part of our newsletter list, please go sign up at brandrewind.com and you can join our Facebook group at Brand Rewind. We try to keep the conversation going. And you can also follow us on Instagram at Brand Rewind. All right.
Yes.
So that's it for today. Thanks
That's
for
it
joining
for
us.
today. Yes, thank you. We'll be back on December 7th. We're going into the holidays for Thanksgiving. So we will see you back here live on Thursday, December 7th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Have a great Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Be with your loved ones. And we will see you back here in just a few weeks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.